Hello everybody. Alright, I wanted to give you an update on the Enterprise refit, how it's coming out so far. As you can see, the lower portion of the primary hull has been completely wired up. You've got the navigations, you got the thrusters going, and then you have, this is my specific design of what I do with the wiring. I'm using different LED tape this time around. A lot of the tape I used in the past was 3 LEDs per inch. This is 3 LEDs per 2 inches. So it's going to cut the light in half. And I'm doing that because I've been noticing on some of these models, by using the higher LED tape, it puts out a lot of light, but the internal lighting seems to be almost a little too bold. It doesn't look quite natural. So I went through and I'm cutting down the lights by half, and there even sometimes I'll turn them on like, is that bright enough? And then when I put the hulls together, it looks exactly how I want it to look. So it's all wired up. I need to go through and light block the navigation and strobe lighting so no light leaks through. One traditional thing is on these for the navigation light is when it's not on, you can see a little bit of light behind it. I don't like that. So I'll be going through and modifying that. So here's the lower portion of the primary hull. This is where the recreational deck will go. And here is the upper portion of the primary saucer. So I got the officer's lounge in place. Here are the 3 fiber optics feeding the little tiny arboretum I have in there. As you can see, I got the light blocking done on the navigation, and I also got some of the light blocking done on the thrusters, as well as the impulse engines. I use black foam, and I've started using all this because, it is very easy to cut. It goes in place with hot glue. It blocks light very well. And as you can see back here, it comes above the saucer ring. It smashes down. And so when it smashes down, it's even denser than it is before, so it does that much better blocking out the light. But as you guys can see right here, with these window sections, normally when I build the refit, I use the 3 per inch LED tape, and I would have 6 LEDs right here. I've only got 3. And even on the inside, it's just 3. I mean, I am drastically reducing how much light is going to be inside this thing because I want to reduce the light in there. I don't want it to be so bold. So I got the officer's lounge all wired up. This LED right here will feed the lights on the back, the approach lights on the back of the bridge. And as you can see, I also got the bridge all wired up. Now I did use 3 LEDs inside here because this area, when all the lights outside, it does reduce the lighting. So I wanted a lot in there. I've got the 2 front LEDs wired up, and I have the back strobe wired and light blocked. Now, I am doing something a little different on this ship. So normally when you build these ships, you use, it depends on what power supply you want. I've been going back and forth between 9 volt and 12 volt. I really like 9 volt a lot because it's a good strong voltage. It's low power. My resistors like it. My LEDs like it. My LED tape works really well on it. However, my radio frequency remote controls do not like 9 volt. None of them run on 9 volt. You can get 6 volt, you can get 12 volt, you can't get 9 volt. And if you put a 6 on a 9, obviously it'll blow it. These ones, if you put a 12 volt on a 9 volt, there's not enough power being supplied to those physical relays to open and close them. And so they break down very fast. So I had to go back to 12 volt. And by doing that, the problem with 12 volt is the resistors I use get really hot. But resistors are meant to get hot. So this time around, I went to a different resistor. So I use 470 ohm resistors. I use them for 9 volt or 12. They're just a good all-around resistor, and I know I'm not going to blow my LEDs. It's a carbon resistor, and I used to use metal filament resistors because I thought they would help reduce the heat. But what I was using was 1/4 watt, 470 ohm resistors, metal filament. For 12 volts, resistors that are 1/4 watt really don't like 12 volts. They get very hot. So I went to 1/2 watt carbon 470 ohm resistor. You can get these. I got these off Amazon. I decided to try a new guy. Well, another guy. None of my suppliers carried half watts, so I decided to try a guy on there. And these at 12 volts are ice cold. They don't generate any heat whatsoever. And on these models, when they're completely enclosed, the last thing you want is a lot of heat. So I would recommend using these. They work very well. My older models, I used carbon resistors that were 1/4 watt, and they just work very well. The metal filaments, they both have their pros and cons in their own field. I decided to go back to carbon. They're a little bit less expensive than metal filament, and the fact that I can get them at half watt, this model is generating nearly zero heat. Even the LED tape I have is nearly zero heat, which is exactly where I want them. So half watt carbon, 470 ohm resistors, I use those for 9 and 12 volt supplies, and they've been working great. Now back to the model. As you can see, I have the impulse engines wired up. I also have the top crystal wired up. It's wired to be blue. This one will have a blue crystal, blue deflector dish, and blue engines, where my last one had violet. It'll be blue with amber, which is amber is in impulse, blue is in warp. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to hook it up to my circuit board. I'm going to give it power, and I'm going to turn it on, and I'll show you guys what it looks like. So I'll be right back. Okay guys, alright, this is what it looks like all wired up. Now as you can see, the navigation lights, red, green, warm white, warm, warm, and then you've got the bright white interior lighting. Okay, you can see how it's a little bit duller now. It's nowhere near as bold, and I think that looks far more natural than it did before. And here's the bridge. Got the 2 front lights for the spotlight. Got the strobe going, and as you can see, there's light creeping out because I wanted more light shining out through the sides, just like in the movie. Now when I hit the button, you can see the crystal comes on amber, and the impulse engines come on red. That's in impulse mode. And then when I hit the button again, you can see it starts, well, if I hit it hard enough, it starts to fade off and comes on blue. Now if you look down here, you'll notice the impulse engines are off. So that'll be the impulse to warp mode, and when this happens, the crystal will go blue and the warp engines will go blue. Now, I also told you that I got the officer's lounge installed. I don't know how well this camera is going to pick it up, but you can see you got some guys back there, got some actual foliage. Got one guy sitting in the back. Let's see if I can pull him out. Oh. There we go. Got a guy standing, got a guy sitting in the back. And that guy standing right there, I don't know if this camera will be able to pick it up, is actually standing next to the makeshift arboretum. Very difficult to see, but it is there. I'm really happy with this officer's lounge. I think it came out looking better than any of the others. I'll be able to get better photos of that when I put it, when I take it out to get its photo shoot done. Alright, well I'm going to put it back on the stand and talk a little more. Just a second. I am currently going to put her aside for now so I can finish up the Queen Elizabeth II. I was able to find, I got the wood decking back. I got a custom wood decking made for it, a laser etched on there. It looks really, really good. So I got that back, and I'm going to focus on finishing that up. Once that's done, I'll start working on another model kit, the DS9 Runabout, modeled specifically after the Rio Grande. And then once that's finished, and I will be working on the Enterprise here and there. Once that's finished, I'll pick up the Enterprise again and really start going on it. So, alright guys, well I wanted to show you what it looks like. I hope you're enjoying the build. If you have any questions, let me know.